Hello and welcome into another video on the Pat Talks Hockey channel. Today is going to be the first episode of my betting series on the NHL playoffs. And this is kind of a trial. I'm not betting a ton of money on each bet. I'm just trying to see if it is possible for me with my knowledge and just feel for what I'm watching, if I can make money betting on hockey, which I can tell you from past experiences, it's not exactly easy, but it's fun to put down $5, $10, maybe even $20 on some bets here and there. Remember, don't bet what you're not willing to lose, and that's what I'm doing here. But we have 4 games tonight, all potentially series that are going to end tonight. Boston up 3-1 on Toronto, Carolina up 3-1 on the New York Islanders, Colorado up 3-1 on the Jets, and the Vancouver Canucks up 3-1 on the Nashville Predators. 3 of those 4 games, the home team could close it out. The one away team that could close it out is Colorado. So do factor that into your betting because some of these places are harder to play than others. So let's hop into the first game. I'll show you my bets. I'll go over my thoughts for the Maple Leafs and Bruins game tonight at 7 p.m. So Boston's the betting favorite, minus 155 tonight. Now, the logic here with my betting is that the Bruins have all the momentum. They really do. Toronto's lost both home games in a row. Goaltending's been shaky. They're starting Joseph Woll, who's an unknown. I think he's not a terrible goalie, but you kind of have a question mark. You have Swayman on the other side, who's been playing lights out and is likely to start tonight. The Bruins are leaning away from the rotation, and it looks like it's set up for the Bruins to win this series. Austin Matthews' game time decision still sick. You might not be getting him at 100%. William Nylander's only played 1 playoff game. He's probably not at 100%. Mitch Marner has not been a factor. It's just looking like it should be the Bruins series to win tonight. And if they don't win, then you're opening up a can of worms for potentially looking at Game 6 in Toronto and potentially Game 7 in Boston. But at this moment, it is hard to feel any other way than the Bruins. That being said, as you can see, I didn't bet the Bruins straight up, which may be a mistake. Minus 155 isn't terrible odds. You could, if you bet $150, you would get 100. If you bet $10, you get $5, to give you an idea. So if you think the Bruins are definitely going to win slam dunk, throw $10 on, get your $5 and move on with your life. I decided to spice it up a little. I decided to include, my main thing is, if I could recommend, couple the Bruins money line with Brad Marchand point. If they win, he's probably getting a point. He's been on a different level the last 2 games, so if that continues and they win, it will probably be the Brad Marchand point and the Bruins win, which is 10 to pay 21, so plus 116. On the other hand, I decided to spice it up a little and add 2 more things for a bigger parlay. I added Leafs under 3.5 because Swayman's been lights out, and if the Bruins win this game, it is probably going to be in the sense of a 3-2, 4-2 type game, or maybe even a 4-3. The Leafs have struggled scoring. If Matthews doesn't play, they're definitely going to probably struggle scoring. That being said, it's hockey. Anything can happen. And then I decided to include John Tavares' point just to boost the odds for a little fun here. John Tavares, in my opinion, has been one of the more consistent Maple Leaf players. That being said, he's probably the riskiest part of this parlay, in my opinion. These that the Bruins win and the Leafs are under 3 goals. There's less opportunities for John Tavares to be on the score sheet, but I figure if someone's going to pop up 10 on the score sheet for the Leafs, it will probably be him just because he's been consistent. So those are my thoughts on the Bruins game. Let me know in the comments what you think your thoughts are, and let's move on to Carolina. So Carolina, surprisingly to me, did not close this out in 4 games. They went up 3-0 in the series. Looked like they were poised to close them out in 4, but they didn't. So Game 5 is in Carolina, and as you can see, minus 258. That's not good enough for me to bet straight up. The under 5.5, a little testy with empty netters. So I didn't really touch that either with just a straight up bet, although I do think the under is likely to hit just with how the Islanders play in the nature of an elimination game. So what I did was I did another combo of Carolina winning and someone getting a point. Martin Necas has gotten a point, and I want to say 3 of 4 games so far. He's been a very valuable top 6 producer for the Canes. He had better odds on him than Svechnikov and Aho, which was really what I came down to picking here. The production's been good, so I figured why not go with him with Carolina moneyline 10 to win 22. On the other hand, I decided to spice it up a little bit more with a 10 to win 190 bet. As you can see, going big or go home. I put Noah Dobson for a point. I like what Noah Dobson does from the point. Andrei Svechnikov, who's one of the Canes' best producers, Carolina to win in that under 5.5. Wouldn't recommend tailing this, but it's a fun one to tail if you want to. We then move on to the Colorado Winnipeg game. And this is the most interesting game to me because Winnipeg is a tough place to play. They split the two games in Winnipeg 1-1, and then Colorado won both in Colorado. So I think this game is rightfully a coin flip in the odds. That being said, with the Avalanche's momentum from game 3 and 4, I think it's hard not to bet on them. Connor Hellebuck hasn't been amazing. Georgiev has performed a lot better the last two games, and I think that confidence may just roll into Game 5. So I bet the Colorado Avalanche straight up because my gut tells me that Colorado is going to win tonight, and the odds suggest that it's a valuable thing to bet because they're slight favorites, not really that much. On the other hand, I decided to do another 4-pick parlay, which I don't always do this, but for some reason I was feeling the 3-4 pick parlays today. I did Artturi Lehkonen for a point. Artturi Lehkonen's been a solid top 6 producer for them. I believe he has a point in every game in the playoffs so far. Kyle Connor for a point. I think he's the Jets' most dangerous player. Winnipeg under 3.5 goals. I think Colorado wins this. Winnipeg's probably going to be under 3.5. Otherwise, I think the Jets will probably win at home if they score more than 4. That being said, I think things in Game 1 are a little misleading, and I really just have a tough time believing in the Jets being able to shut down Colorado's offense. I think they're a little demoralized after the last 2 games in Colorado. So I think their offense may struggle. The Kyle Connor point thing I think might be the most riskiest thing here, even though he's a very talented player. 15 to win 87 though. So it's one of those things, there's a reason you're winning $87. It's not likely to happen. And I think it's looking like a Colorado win tonight. We then move on to the last game of the night, and that will be the Vancouver Canucks and the Nashville Predators. Now, this is just like, if you watch the end of Game 4, man, you feel bad for Predators fans. It's those 2 goals in the last 3 minutes, the empty net miss by Colton Sissons that hit the post. This should be a 2-2 series. And Nashville has played better in most of these games, I think, outside of Game 1. It's just the scoring is a little bit lacking. The choke job in Game 4, not amazing, but they've been out shooting Vancouver the last few games, and Vancouver's going back home. 3-1 win, opportunity to close it out. As you can see, I'm big on betting on home teams to close it out in Game 5, even though it's going to be a very tough game. So I put $15 on JT Miller in Vancouver money line. JT Miller has a point in every playoff game. And Vancouver, if they win, JT Miller's probably getting on the score sheet. So I think that's a good thing to couple with Vancouver money line if you think they're going to win. I really don't think there's much value in the NHL in just betting straight up bets. You should bet things that happen when the team wins. When the Vancouver Canucks win, JT Miller's usually on the score sheet. So I'd recommend that one. That being said, I'm not telling anyone to bet, or I'm not telling people to tail my advice and get mad at me. You make your own decisions. You're a grown adult if you're betting. But that's just my thought. And then on the other side, Nashville under 3.5. I think the under in this game is probably a safe bet in general, just with how these games have gone. That being said, last game had 7 goals, and if Vancouver goes up and they pull the empty net's really where the under gets a little bit sketchy straight up, which is why I don't bet under 5.5 in the playoffs. Just empty nets, like, they ruin these. You're going to be sitting there kicking your couch. So I bet Vancouver money line, Preds under 3.5, because there's a good shot the Preds won't go over 3.5 if Vancouver wins. JT Miller a point and Ryan O'Reilly a point. Ryan O'Reilly's just a very solid player. I believe he has 3 or 4 points this playoffs. He's looked good. I think he's the Predators' best offensive player outside of Roman Josi and Philip Forsberg. So I think there was some value in him. I think he's a little underrated for points because people don't necessarily think of him with points, but he does put in solid production, especially in the playoffs. Former Conn Smythe winner. So those are my thoughts on the game. On the games tonight, my bets. As you can see, I did $15 on most. The only one I did more than 15, I believe, was the Colorado money line, just because I felt good. I'm pondering potentially just betting the Bruins straight up because I do feel pretty confident. That being said, are there any other lines that kind of catch your guys' eyes? I'm down to discuss in the comments. Remember, this is not a betting advice show. This is a betting discussion show. So I'm not here to tell you win money. I lose bets. I win bets. It's one of those things. I'm not really trying to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do, my thoughts. And I'd love to hear yours in the comments. That being said, as you can see, I predicted all 4 series to end tonight, which won't happen. Probably it's the NHL. I would be surprised if at least 2 of these aren't. I think 3 of them probably will end tonight. I'd be surprised if at least 2 don't. if 3 or more go beyond game 5, I will be a little surprised. That being said, this is going to conclude the video. As I said, like, subscribe. I want to do this video type going daily. Hopefully I win so I don't run out of money going forward. But let me know in the comments what you guys are betting, any advice from you guys or anything. Talk to you in the next video. Peace.